private hospitals for COVID-19 treatment, the Union Health Ministry on Monday directed states to engage with the sector to ensure fair and transparent charges for services provided. The ministry also asked the states and union territories to facilitate enhanced bed availability and critical care health facilities. The government said that some states have already taken initiatives in this regard. They have reached an agreement with the private sector on reasonable rates and arrangements to provide critical care for inpatient admissions. A non-government body urged the Gautam Buddha Nagar administration on Monday to reduce the cost of the coronavirus test and regulate the treatment charge at private facilities. Similar requests have been made across the country. In this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze the issue of regulating pricing of COVID-19 treatment. Joining me on the program today are Dr. Devinder Singh Rana, Chairman, Board of Management, Sir Gangaram Hospital; Dr. R.K. Srivastava, former Director General, Health Services, Government of India; and Dr. Anant Mohan, Head and Professor, Department of Pulmonary Medicine, AIIMS. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on this edition of The Big Picture. All right, Dr. Rana, let me begin the program with you first. You know, private hospitals have been facing a lot of criticism in the recent past as far as pricing for COVID-19 treatment is concerned. Even the tests too, or how much they are being charged for the tests, is coming under the scanner. So what is your take on this entire matter?
Thanks. Thank you very much. My take for this is that it is not true that all private hospitals are charging more. We have to understand that nobody is providing healthcare free, whether it is a government, non-government sector. In non-government sector, some are trust-run hospitals like ours, some are corporate, and some are totally so-called totally charitable, being run by certain organization, But somewhere somebody is paying. In the government hospital, the money is coming from the taxpayer money. As far as private hospitals are concerned, their charges are variable, and depending upon what sort of infrastructure or say mostly ambience facility they are providing. Healthcare, as far as I'm concerned, that should be similar in government and non-government and sector. So whenever any hospital prepared by in the private hospital, we keep in mind that we have to meet fixed cost, and we have to have some reasonable surplus to meet our charitable responsibility, to upgrade our facilities toward expansion. And as far as corporate hospitals are concerned, they will like to have some share for their investment also. Hospital like ours, Gangaram Hospital, we don't have any portion for our profit, Nobody takes any single penny from this hospital as far as trust is concerned, Even the government doctors who are serving, they are also contributing. The only pain point as far as COVID care is concerned, that is two things. Test, as you told, I definitely feel the test can be made certainly much cheaper, but this test price was fixed by the government of India only, keeping probably the various factors at that time. And it should be certainly revised. And it's certainly required to be maybe something like 2,500 or so. I don't know what should be, but that is what I feel, that it can be done for that cost, As for other pain point is COVID care cost, And most of the people in the public feel that we are charging for only that kit, It is a very complex situation. Dr. Srivastava, who has been a very seasoned administrator, he will understand. It is not only that we are requiring more manpower, and the COVID, kit is not being borne by the people those who are providing care in the COVID hospital, But in the COVID hospital, almost everybody is being protected by one means or other, And so all that indirect expenses, they have to put in that, As things stand today, this cost, which we have calculated by consumption based, by various methods, it varies from, say, 4,000 to 7,000, depending on how many patients are you treating. The same cost was much more than this when we started the service, because we were purchasing things from the market at a very high cost, and especially from grey market. So you are not getting, but sure. Right now those things are streamlined. So probably the cost required to be reasonable. Ultimately, toward end of the day, I think for such emergency, what we are unprecedented emergency we are seeing right by corona disease, in order to face this national emergency of this pandemic, every hospital can forget about surplus. But the people, those who are engaged, we have talked with them, they should be very pragmatic, reasonable. so that fixed expenditure, including that of this, I will not call PP cost. This is Corona care expenses. It is not only
Right.
PP. It is so many things. We are spending lakhs of rupees together to change infrastructure of our hospitals, then extra manpower, and then people are becoming sick. Then they are requiring quarantine. Nurses are not able to go to home. They have to stay in the at hired accommodation. We are providing them transport, and a number of points are there, which I may not speak here. What I just want to
Sure.
brief that it is not only one kit. There is a very, very comparison. About 15 points are involved in cost of that, and that is only touch point. Where people think that, okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. I'm going to come back to you, Dr. Rana, for another reaction, of course. But Dr. Srivastav, let's take the points that Dr. Rana is making forward. Now, first and foremost, it's a supply and demand kind of a situation. Also, there are several aspects involved. It is not just one or two things. It has to be looked at holistically, and it has to be taken forward in a way that it is beneficial for everyone, is what he is suggesting. But there is a general consensus, a general feeling among the populace in the country that the private hospitals are indeed overcharging, and probably maybe this has to be explained to the people of the country as well.
I think you have pointed out a very important thing. So let us start from demand and supply. The demand has increased tremendously and the supply is deficient as on today. And if we try to keep it in the background, then when we are trying to get supplies from the government system, it is usually free of cost or it is reimbursed through some system. That is not the issue which public is crying about. The issue is little bit different, that when they are not getting supplies from the government system and they are going to the private system, largely the private hospital and mostly for the hospitalized care, they do face a problem of charges which are usually going beyond their expectations. And when I say going beyond their expectations, then I am looking at all those three categories of persons who get hospitalized for the treatment. First, those who are paying from their pocket. Second, those who are covered by some type of insurance system. And third, those who are serving and employees of some type of hospitals, the caregiver. All these three group of persons do find it difficult that the money which they have to shed off is usually more than what they feel is right. There was a study of about 10,000 claims which has been put up to the insurance sector, and it has been estimated that average is about 1.56 and the range is from 2 to round about 10 lakhs per patient. It varies from the type of treatment. There are three areas where these patients get the treatment. Number one, they get the treatment in the normal ward where they are hospitalized. Second, they get the treatment in the ICU where they require intensive care. And third, they attend to the OPD, what we call usually a fever clinic, where they are subjected to a various type of tests and the prescriptions and drugs accordingly. And in that total process, there are 8 major areas where the cost is incurred by the hospital. It is about the medical consult, it is about the nursing care, it is about the health worker cost, it is about the lab diagnostic, it is about the drugs, it is about the consumable, it is about the intervention, and it is about the various type of special test, special intervention which can occur on account of the complication happening in these diseases, because they are new disease. We never know that it is going to impact lung only, or from lung it is going to go to the liver and kidney also. So all these things are accounted for cost, and that adds the volume. It is a learning process. What Dr. Rana is saying is perfectly well. We cannot keep a benchmark that this is the cost which is uniformly to be kept as final point or upper limit by all the private hospital. But at least we can start thinking about it to work out the benchmark standard of the costing which we have done with various other things or which is being practiced in the insurance system. So that is absolutely necessary.
Okay, all right. So, Professor Mohan, let me bring you into the picture now. As far as, COVID treatment is concerned, does it have anything specific? Does it have anything special really? or, is there any special care and special treatment that is required as far as, COVID patients are concerned?
The disease can manifest in various stages of severity. So we have to, when a person is diagnosed COVID positive, then we have to classify that patient into categories, and the categories are maybe actually asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic. So mild or moderate or severe / critical. So based upon these categories, the management is instituted. So in the kind of mild kind of cases, sometimes they may, if they have adequate facility, they only need home isolation with proper precautions at home. If not possible, then they are hospitalized in a kind of isolation facility where they are not really allowed to meet other people, but there is no active medical management there. So it is basically an observation and monitoring for any worsening of symptoms, and they get discharged after appropriate period of time as per the guidelines. The second category would be the moderate category, and we have made it kind of very simple. The moderate means anybody who is, primarily it affects the lungs. Of course, there can be affection of many other places also, but primarily the lungs. So anybody who has drop in his saturation, who starts breathing harder, so respiratory rate becomes high, or oxygen level also becomes low. These are the factors based on which we classify a person as moderate. They require hospital care, they require oxygen, they require slightly better and more close monitoring, because they are likely to worsen further, especially in the second week, mostly we have seen. So they require upgraded level of care. It may not be ICU care. The ICU care is for those who are the severe or the critical variety. They are the ones who are one step higher. So they do not maintain their oxygenation even on oxygen. They may require other forms of oxygen therapy. They may require non-invasive ventilation, high flow nasal cannula oxygen. So there are other things which are required for these people. Apart from that, they may require antibiotics to prevent sepsis, or they may actually have gone into sepsis, which is a kind of a potentially life-threatening stage, or they may have gone into a condition of acute lung injury or ARDS type picture, in which they may be required to be put on a ventilator. So these are the critical patients, and they require the maximum level of care in the ICU. So maximum monitoring, closest interventions, and maximum, then all the anticoagulation and all these things will come into the picture here. So management depends upon the level of severity of the disease. And there are actually, if you are asking the treatment, there is no clear-cut or known treatment approved as of now. Treatment remains supportive, and that support, the level of support may depend upon the degree of severity of the disease. Various drugs are under trial. Some have shown promising results. Some are even being used on a compassionate basis. But really, we have nothing which we can say that this is the drug for COVID as of now.
All right, Dr. Rana has now rejoined us through audio. Dr. Rana, taking the discussion forward and bringing up another aspect with you, of course, people seem to be getting cured at home as well, and there are several states that are recommending home quarantine too. So at a time like this, there's a general question in the people's mind as to, if people can get cured at home, why are private hospitals charging so much?
Yes, that is what I was telling you, that I will say otherwise, it is a misutilization of beds as far as tertiary care hospital is concerned. Just occupying the beds for staying there, having breakfast, lunch, dinner, and spending 10 days is of no value. They are wasting money as far as they are concerned, and as far as we are concerned, we are not gaining. I told you the pain point is the cost of PP, and I can assure of Gangara Hospital, we are recalculating it on retrospectively also. What I have already told my administration, that we do not charge even normal handling charges. We don't want to earn on that. But as I told you earlier, that this price is very complex. So that should be told to the public, that nobody is overcharging. Otherwise, we were told by the Delhi government that charge the normal rates of the hospital. But let me tell you that no hospital is sustainable on room rent services. The main sources of, say, surplus of the hospital to meet expenses is use of lab. There is hardly any use of lab as far as normal COVID patients are concerned. Use of pharmacy, probably the drug bills are in only few thousands, not in this thing. Then, operation theatre. So these are three, four areas from where hospital make up money in order to generate surplus. If somebody using these hospitals, a tertiary care hospital like for COVID care, we are not earning any money. And at the same time, we are depriving the non-COVID patients of their right to get treatment, So that is what I want to say, that we even converting our 100% beds into COVID, that is emergency. So we will definitely do it. If somebody is thinking that the private hospital, they are earning money, at least I don't know what other hospitals, we are totally open for audit anytime, at a given time. But however, when we started charging for COVID kit initially, we never knew what was the consumption. Now we knew the consumption, we know the price just almost streamlined. We are now calculating 15 days consumption. Maybe if it's less, then we will charge less, and that is how it has to happen. So for everybody in the bill, it is that, and moreover, I don't think there is a totally wastage of money as far as asymptomatic, and there is no gain of it is total loss of money as far as family is concerned. There is no gain to the hospital. But obviously, the patient goes home, he says, I ended up paying 3 lakhs or so. But at the same time, let me tell you now, it is only version of poor patient. Because as Dr. Srivastava told, the patient, those who cannot afford, their insurances are not out of pocket, they cannot afford. Out of their insurance is not paying. And at the same time, they do not want to go to free specialty, which is totally almost 50 to 60% is free in the government hospital. Right now, beds are not occupied. They do not want to go there because of ABC reason. At the same time, they want to come to private hospital. So it is just like comparing, somebody wants to have tea in the dhaba. So it will cost only 4 rupees, 10 rupees, I don't know what it costs, but certainly tea in Taj place will cost 400 rupees, But so it will think definitely somebody anything. So right now situation is that is totally when somebody for a poor person, say lower middle class people, those who are depending on their pocket, and with great difficulty, for them is very painful. But for rich people, I can tell you my experience at Gangana Hospital. When we ask for 5 lakh advance, we don't say that 5 lakhs normal currency, a normal person is about 2.5 to 3.5 lakhs. But they readily deposit even when they do not get bed. They say, okay, we'll get bed tomorrow, we'll pay. So this is not a problem for us.
Okay.
And we return, this is no problem. And people, those who can pay money, it is their right also to get best facility in the country or city.
Okay, since we are here, then Dr. Srivastava, this is a very, unusual situation. It's a situation that has existed for a long time now, The poor, of course, are covered by several state government health schemes. They're covered by, the Ayushman Bharat, the amazing scheme that the central government has launched. The rich, of course, have the money, have insurance schemes, so they have access to private hospitals as well. But what do the ones in between do? I mean, isn't it everyone's right to proper health care? The middle class, the lower middle class, and those who are earning their daily bread.
The middle class person or upper middle class persons who are either secured by some type of insurance and partially subscribe for the treatment cost, they are not comfortable with the government system. They want to go for the private system because their comfort level is high, but their health-seeking behavior has been converted into a panic reaction that, look, I have got out of these 7 symptoms, 2 symptoms, I am not feeling nicely in my nose and I am not tasting nicely in my mouth. So let us go and get tested and get myself admitted. Now, these are the aberrant health-seeking behavior which society has developed during the last night. Now, it has resulted in a situation where the upper middle class or middle class, they do not find a response proper from the hospitals, particularly private hospitals. I am not talking of Gangaram, but I am talking of general corporate hospital. I have seen general corporate hospitals price list saying that before you get admitted, you deposit 3 lakh rupees, which is the total cost for the 3 days treatment and something like that. There are good number of examples, one can search it out and you can find it. Now, these are the things which are depriving majority of persons to go to the private sector, and it is secondarily validated by the type of claims which are coming out. So somewhere in the middle at that juncture, government has to try to work out fixation either of a upper ceiling of the different type of treatment which are provided for the hospitalized care, high dependence bed, ICU care, or in the OPD, and try the private hospital to adhere, decide it on the basis of a standard treatment guidelines or clinical pathway, because they will take time to develop in such conditions. And if then the second component comes, that the insurance sector who are trying to cover it, they should try to take care of these things and not trying to the type of things which they do. Say you top up this much of premium, we are trying to take care of 50%, 40% as a part of the co-payment for the consumables, etc. So these are
Right.
the two important actions which are required.
Okay, all right. Professor, let's talk about another aspect. Since we're talking about home quarantine, since we're speaking about home treatment, there are several people who are undergoing that as well. So, what are the things to keep in mind when people are quarantining at home? When does someone decide that he or she needs to be taken to the hospital or needs to go to the hospital? And what are some of the best practices?
Well, home quarantine and home isolation are slightly different from each other. So home isolation means a person is already diagnosed, but he is relatively asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic, and thereby he is kind of eligible to be kept at home. He does not really need hospitalization. So at home, then he has to have certain level of minimum facilities available with him to segregate him from the rest of the family, so that they are protected till the time he is not. And that includes that probably he should, of course, all the principles of social distancing, the hand hygiene, sanitation, cough etiquettes, all that has to be implemented very, very strictly. In fact, extremely strictly, because we know that he is potentially infected for at least a few days. So he has to be segregated, ideally into a separate room, and not to share the toilets, the bathrooms with the other people, and all those things have to be kept in mind, especially if there are other high-risk people in the house. For the others, as long as they are asymptomatic, it is fine. And if any of them develop any kind of symptoms, those symptoms which are there in the checklist, any upper respiratory symptoms, headache, fever, body aches, runny nose, cough, breathing difficulty, any of these, then they should immediately seek medical attention. And if deemed necessary, they get themselves tested. At shown much favor even for high-risk contacts. So that is something which may need revision and may need to be revised. So prophylaxis of hydroxychloroquine as of now is there, but some trials have shown it is not beneficial. So these are some of the principles at home isolation and home quarantine for the rest of the family.
Okay. Time now to get closing comments from all my panelists with the best way forward really in dealing with regulation and this entire situation that we are looking at is concerned. Starting first with you, Dr. Rana.
I think my take on this will be that the government must be pragmatic to rationalize the cost of meeting the expenses of private hospital or corporate hospital. But I can assure you, whatsoever rationalization is done and that is proper, the price will be still not affordable by white collar, middle class, upper middle class, as Dr. Srivastava told. Insurance sector is already not giving full money, so there will be still dissatisfaction. So either the government improves their own hospital or subsidize the private hospital. That is the only answer. As far as rich people are concerned, the hospital, private hospital or the Delhi will be full with rich hospitals, and they're already ready to pay in the existing rates. So that's what I say.
Okay, all right. Dr. Srivastava.
I think I will try to say that the way forward is, first thing is to include all the vulnerable population under the PMJAY through the benefit packages, which can easily be worked out in 7 days' time for different type of COVID-related treatment. Second is a rational type of top-up system in the existing Mediclaim policies, so that the hospitalized treatment can be taken care of, and try to put a ceiling on the co-payment which is there. The third thing is that the new COVID insurance scheme, which has recently been launched by the National Health Assurance System, need to take care that the takers of the schemes are getting the reimbursement in a stipulated time, and the deductions can have upper ceiling, but not like this, that if they are putting up a claim of about 15 lakh and they are being paid only about 2 lakh by reducing all those things. So these are the things which can be done immediately as an important way forward from the lessons which we have learned about the partnership with the private sector.
Okay, all right. I'm going to come back to you to have a last say on the program, Dr. Rana. I saw you putting up your hand, but before that, Professor Mohan.
Well, I think the discussion on the prices have already been done. I think Dr. Rana and Dr. Srivastav have discussed that at length. So I can only talk from the physician's perspective. What I feel is that what should happen is that all the people who are symptomatic, they should be able to be provided medical attention, and they should be able to get themselves tested at the earliest and with the minimum inconvenience. That is what I can say, wherever it may be. And but at the same time, a word of caution is that, again, like it has been pointed out, there should not be any panic reaction that as soon as anybody develops even the minutest of symptoms, they should immediately start thinking only of COVID and nothing else and start rushing, and in a panic they should start getting themselves tested. And if it is not being done, then they again go into a panic mode. That also should not happen. There are certain criteria, and after seeking medical attention probably is the best way. If you are told to get tested, then it should be the testing should be easily possible, and if it is not required, then it is not required. Then one just maintains the other practices and goes forward.
Okay, all right. And Dr. Rana, close the show for us with your concluding remarks.
I think PMJ scheme is a game changer in this country, but this is game changer. This can be applied only government hospitals which were having bunches of funding now. If PMJ scheme, as far as private hospitals or trust-run hospitals are concerned, they can hardly afford 10 to 15% because with those rates, it is not possible to maintain the infrastructure of private hospitals. So that is the message. We can participate in that, but otherwise, let us say private hospitals have to cope up with this PMJ scheme. They'll be closed in 1 week if they are not viable. So let us rationalize and let us face this crisis, and let us all get together, and we face the crisis of COVID, COVID crisis. For that, we can have some pragmatic rates. Thank you.
Okay, all right. On that note, then I'll call it a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. What's coming out of this discussion is that it's a catch-22 situation, really, as far as pricing is concerned. If you reduce the prices to a very low level, then the infrastructure at the private hospitals will suffer. If you raise it to a very high level, then the general populace as a whole will suffer. So we all need to come together and work